There are many myths about Jesus. In these programs, we're talking to some experts who can help us get at the facts behind the myths. One myth is that we can't believe the Bible's accounts of Jesus because they're full of miracles. He walks on water. He raises the dead, and so on. But we know from science that things like that don't happen. If you've already made up your mind that there's no God, no amount of evidence is likely to persuade you that Jesus did miracles. But if you think there could be a God, you're more likely to look at the evidence with an open mind. So just what is the historical evidence that Jesus did miracles?
Jesus had a clear reputation for being a miracle worker. We know that even from the first century. We even know that from non-Christian writers. Josephus said he had a reputation for doing unusual works. So whatever's going on, and even the skeptics recognize this about Jesus' reputation, he had a reputation for doing unusual things.
Now, of course, some people object to the reliability, the historicity of the Gospels because there are supernatural elements within them. That is, Jesus heals people or he casts out an evil spirit. And so some say, well, do we see these kinds of things every day? So this must be myth, this must be a fiction or something else like that. Well, I have several things that can be said in response to that. Number one, crowds of people observe these things. Jesus was not a private figure, he was a public figure. Large crowds followed Jesus. Why? Was it because he was a compelling talker, a compelling teacher? Or was it because he, you might say, provided free health care?
We know that things like that don't happen because they don't happen for us in our world, but that doesn't mean that they don't ever happen. Part of what Jesus is doing is exceptional because he himself is exceptional. I like to say one of the difficulties of dealing with Jesus is understanding that he's one in a gazillion, and a gazillion's a big number. And so because of his uniqueness, part of what he called signs or miracles are designed to show the unique things that he does that you can't see or understand otherwise. The example I like to use here is forgiveness of sins. Jesus claims to forgive sins. How in the world can I ever show that someone can forgive sins? I can't do it. There's no way to see forgiveness of sins. So in the healing of the paralytic, when this lame man is dropped before Jesus, Jesus says this, in order that you might know that the Son of Man has authority on earth to forgive sins, I say to you, get up and walk. So he does something that you can see to attach it to something you can't see. And in that way links the two.
The reason we even are talking about this, the reason that Gospels were even written down, the reason that a church even came into existence was because Jesus, in fact, did the things that the Gospel writers say he did. If he had done nothing remarkable, then I don't think his following would have survived his crucifixion. There would have been no church, and we wouldn't be here today talking about this subject.
So then the question simply is, do you believe that he did it, or do you think that it's made up? And if it's made up, then how is it that he was able to draw all these people to himself, even to the point of thinking that they were willing to die for him? There would have to be a mass of people who are extremely deluded for that to take place. So I think it's far more likely to explain someone like Paul, who even persecuted Christians for a while and knew what was going on in Jerusalem. The only way to explain someone like that is that there was something to what Jesus did and said, and he thought it was credible. He didn't think Jesus was deceiving anybody.
The myth is that we can't believe the Bible's accounts of Jesus because they're full of miracles. The fact is that there's good historical evidence that Jesus did miracles, even outside the Bible. Right at the heart of the Christian message is the claim that Jesus was the one and only Son of God. If this is true, there's no reason for us to reject the accounts of the miracles. Next time, we'll look at the claim that we don't know what the people who wrote the Bible's accounts actually said. Before the invention of printing, these accounts were copied by hand again and again, and mistakes and deliberate distortions have crept in.